On behalf of Greater Kansas City People to People, I would like to welcome you all and thank you so much for your time to participate in this our Circle of Knowledge program. It's very informative, and we are lucky that we have the finest officers from around the world who can represent their countries and give us the true scenario and picture of their country. And at the same time, before we start, I would like to request you all that one of our member country in this CGSC, Ukraine is being attacked, and we should pray for the people of Ukraine at this difficult time. It's not the politics, but it's for the sympathy of the people with the Ukrainian people. I hope that this war will end and there will be a peace. And the other thing, I want to continue with the welcome the Captain Kwassi Ledi from Togo. My favorite nuts are cashew. And you know that Togo is the best, the top producer of cashew. And I was surprised that in last 7 years, they increased their production of cashew nuts 450%. How is that? I mean, from 6,000 ton to 35,000 ton. Man, give us that secret too. So, and I am really thankful to Nancy and Sharon Wasick and our CGSC staff for coordinating this. And it's a great effort. And I am so thankful for your cooperation and help. So from here on, I will give it to Nancy and she will take over.
Well, thank you all for joining us. I am the program chair currently on the board. So part of my responsibility is coordinating this Circles of Knowledge. And it's been a pleasure to meet the different officers that have presented, and looking forward to today and one more after today. So we have with us, Candace McField is the Kansas City sponsor of our officer. And so she's going to introduce him and then he will proceed with his presentation.
Yes, hello everybody. I am so excited. It's definitely an honor to be the Kwassi's, as I call him, Kwassi or Captain Ledi's Kansas City sponsor. So I just want to introduce him, such a remarkable man. So just a little information on him. I have some quick fun tips for you to follow as well. But Captain Kwassi Ledi was born in 1985 in Lome, Togo. He's the eldest of a family of 4 children. He studied English from age 9, even though the country is French speaking. As soon as Captain Ledi graduated from the University of Lome, he enlisted, becoming 2nd Lieutenant of the Togolese Armed Forces in 2012. His training included a commander course in 2013 in China for the Air Defense Company and taking part in the United Nations peacekeeping mission with the position of military assistant of the Togolese Battalion Commanding Officer. Continuing his education at the University of Lome, while serving in the Chief of Defense Office as a drafting officer, he earned a PhD in plant physiology and biotechnology in 2020. Officer Ledi is a certified trainer for chemical risk mitigation in industrial facilities and co-authored scientific publications. In his time away from the military, he enjoys playing, organizing, and watching soccer, cheering for Manchester United. He also enjoys playing volleyball, handball, and basketball. He is a husband and a father, and describing his family as his strength and joy. So just a quick fun facts about Kwassi. His favorite color is blue. His favorite food is fufu, which I believe we're going to hear a little bit more about later. His name Kwassi means born on Sunday, and that's only for boys in Togo. And then his last name, Ledi, is passed down from his grandfather, and it means that as a man, you can't hold a lady without taking care of her and expect her to stay. And so I asked him, Kwassi, what's your favorite quote? He's going to share his favorite quote with us during his presentation. But I would say one thing I always hear Kwassi say is Inshallah, which means if Allah wills it, or maybe in a more Western culture, it, for us means Lord willing. So I asked him about his one thing about his favorite thing about the American culture. And he said, the opportunity given to everybody, the range of opportunity offered to everyone. I broke up. Oh, gotcha. I thought somebody said something, but anyway, he said the best thing his favorite thing about the American culture is just the opportunity that we have that's afforded to everybody. And his favorite thing about being a CGSC officer is the two things. Number one is being able to interact with higher ranked officers who will then become decision makers for their own country at some time in the future. And then number two, the leadership experience he's receiving, plus the military history, and then taking that knowledge and imparting it into his own country and the Army for Togo. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to introduce you to Kwassi. It's been a pleasure just being his sponsor for however months, 9 months now, or however long it's been. So love hanging out with you and Amita, and thank you for imparting so much knowledge and wisdom, Kwassi, into my family and to my friends that you have met. So everybody give Kwassi a warm welcome. As I will tell him often, I'll greet him by saying howdy. So everybody say howdy to Kwassi. Or Captain Ledi, sorry.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Howdy. Howdy. So thank you, Candace, for this presentation. And I'm not sure I can do better than that.
You'll do much better.
So with that being said, August 2021, we had this first IMSD briefing to the IMS, obviously. So there was one slot, one opportunity to present your country, which is Know Your Word. And I registered my name, waiting for the grants or the, what do you call it, the wave to have that opportunity. But Mr. Bourne came to my subgroup, 9 Charlie, say, hey, is it Lady here? I said, yes. So I was fighting so hard for you to get the slot for Know Your Word, but I can't fight against Mr. Finn. I said, no, you can. He said, no, I can't do that. He wants you to be part of the leadership committee for the IMSD. I said, so, okay. Every time I met him, I harassed him. Do I have any opportunity to think, to talk about my country? And then in November, I think, he told me, okay, there is the Kansas City Seeker of Knowledge, so we can present your country to them, but there is no elective or there is no, income for IMSD or for CGSC. I say, yeah, I want to go for that. And I thank you for that opportunity. And here we are today, February 27th, Sunday, my date of birth. And it is an honor, it is a pleasure for me to present my country to you. So let's go to Togo. Candace has talked already about my country, and what else can I say? My team, I call it my team. My team is made of my assistant, team manager, Amida, my wife, my lovely wife, and our 3 kids. So Abdal, Yasmin, and Nafisa. My country, its official name is Togolese Republic, and the first settlements were registered since the 11th century. Our official language is French, but we were not a French colony. So we were a German colony, and after the World War I, our country was ruled over by France and Great Britain. So let me explain it to you. So here is Togo, like now. At our western part, you have Ghana, and our eastern part, you have Benin, French colony, then English colony. When World War I began, British and French came to our country and then defeated the German. This is how our country was split between Ghana and one part of our country originally is now belonging to Ghana, which we called the Volta region. So my country is sharing borders with Ghana, western part, Benin, eastern part, Burkina Faso, northern part, and then we have the Gulf of Guinea. My country also is 173 times smaller than US. So we are not willing to invade you or to do something harmful. Just kidding. So what is the objective of my presentation? Just to give an overview of my country and its armed forces, following an agenda made of 7 parts. The overall population of Togo is over 8 million of inhabitants, and the life expectancy is roughly 61 years. The growth rate is 2.5%, and the Ajaeve, MENA group and the Kabitem groups are the most dominant one. In this small country, we have 37 ethnic groups. The most dominant religions are first Christian, native religion, and then Muslim. How the country is ruled. So let's talk about politics a little bit. So the country is a unitary republic with 3 systems. So the executive system, which is made of the head of state for Nyasingbe, and the prime minister, which is a lady, Victor Tomiga since September 2020. Then we have the legislative branch, which are made of the 91 representatives. It is a unicameral system. We have only 1 chamber. So we have the National Assembly. We don't have a Senate. And Yawa Chegan, since January 2019, is the president of our National Assembly. She's number 2 of our political power. So after the president, she's the one who is coming after. And the 3rd branch is the judicial branch, which is the Supreme Court and the Constitutional Court. Our country also has some political characteristics. The main one is about the dynamic within the diplomacy activities. So Togo is very active when we talk about the diplomacy. So since the beginning, so 1960, we were involved in resolution of conflicts. And these couple years, we were very involved in the transition in Mali since October 2020, and in Chad in April 2021. So here is our Minister of Foreign Affairs with the President of Chad, and here is our Head of State with the President of Mali. In Lomé and in Togo, we have also major regional or sub-regional organization committees which are presented. And Togo was very active when we talk about African Union. In Lomé, July 2000, we have the agreement which established the African Union. And ECOWAS, which is the West African Economical Society, established in May 1975 in Lagos by Lagos Treaty, but the forefathers were President General Yakubu Gowon for Nigeria and the late President of Togo, General Nyasingbe Eyadema. So we are using what we call the West African France. And WAEMU, which is the West African Economic and Monetary Union, was established because and its main building of the main headquarters established in Dakar since 1994. Our GDP is, talking about economy now, our GDP is roughly $7 billion US. And the average income is $920 US per year when comparing to the United States average income, which is $64,550 US per year. Our national currency is the West African franc. So here is the biggest bill note. So 10,000 francs CFA. As of this day, it is roughly 70 US dollars. So the economy is mainly made of the effort of women. So we see this lady here, she's owning a textile market. So in the late 70s, they're representing up to 20% of our GDP. So women are a key of our economy. Because we are a small country and we care about our population, the government has established some policies. So I just want to highlight two of them. The first one, the Community Development Emergency Plan since 2016, which aims to give the opportunity to people to access to basic needs. The second one is the National Healthcare since March 2020. And the last one is the 2020 Novice Program, which was established during the COVID-19 lockdown. So the Novice Program is very interesting. The big part of our economy is based on informal markets. So people during the lockdown were not able to go out and to sell. So the government provide them some financial help. This is the program Novice, roughly explained. About our symbols, every country has its symbols. Our symbol are our flag, national flag, our armor coat, and then our national anthem, which is Land of Forefathers. So my flag is made of 5 stripes, which represent our 5 economic regions. The red color represents the bloodshed by the martyrs to gain independence. The white star represents the hope. The green colors represent the forest, agriculture, nature, and hope for future. And the yellow one represents the natural resources of our country. Talking about our arm of coats, you can see here 2 young lions standing. They represented the bravery of our people. And the bow and the arrow they are carrying stand for calling all the citizens to be active in the defense of the freedom of our country. This arm of code was established since 1962. Each country has its means of power to defend its integrity. So let's talk about our army, our military. We have a very young army, and our last branch was established in 1995, which is the Medical Corps. So the main part of our army is made of army. The second part is made of gendarmerie here. And gendarmerie is kind of MP when you want to compare to US military. And we have up to now 2% of women representing army personnel. Our military history is very recent, like I said. So 1961, we have the embryo of our army, which is made of 152 demobilized colonial troops, mainly for France after the Indochina War. And then the first enacting act was between 1963 and 1964. But talking about modernization, it was since 2014 that we have new organization of our country, which can deal in a better way with the security situation. So we have our five economic regions, and the country is divided in 2 military regions, like you can see. Each military region has its own military region chief. And though we are a very small army, up to 15,000 personnel, we are in the world, the whole world, we are number 16, the troop contributing country, ranking number 9 in Africa. Let's talk about our culture, and specifically about food, first of all. My favorite food, like Candace said, is food. It's made of pounded yam. Apart from that, the most majority of my countrymen used to eat what you see here, which is akume and ademe. I know my cousin from Ghana is delighted to see all those pictures. So we also have some drinks. Here we have kuchu, which is made of millet. We have some rice also. So there are two kinds of rice. Rice made with mixed with beans, which is mainly coming from our central region. And you have rice, which is made with mixed with tomatoes. It's very delicious. I want to share with you some videos talking about my country. So that will be our festivals. But first of all, let me present to you general features about our festival. We had two kinds of festivals. The first one are the festivals that targeting some harvest periods. So mainly in June and July. We have Aizan for beans, we have Achinikuza, we have DuPont. DuPont is in my wife's tribe. So forgive me if I don't mention that. So it's mainly for yam. And we have the ritual initiations, we have Evala at the northern part of my country. So this is a step for growing men. So from teenager to adults. So we need to go through what we call Evala. And for the female, in the northern part, we have Ima. So in the southern part, we have Ekbe. And then we have Sit Ajagu, also in the northern part. This one is more about hunting. Let's take a look at our culture through some videos.
The festival, which is organized by the Association for the Preservation of Cultural Heritage in Africa, attracted participants from Brazil, South Africa, Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Nigeria, Haiti and France. The festival's aim is to provide a platform for both Africans on the continent and those in the diaspora to connect with their African heritage.
It's just a passion for African culture. We love everything that is African. We love our songs and dances, and we do not want to lose them. That is why we ask everyone to come here.
We see that our common traditions are well kept, well preserved. Brazil can be considered as a second African country. Half of the Brazilian population can trace its roots here. We share the same traditions. We are very proud to be there with our Ballet Folclórico de Bahia.
Those in attendance consider the festival a success because it provides the opportunity to showcase their cultural practices.
We came to present the Togolese culture, to promote our country. Gwelede is a traditional dance that occurs in two conditions. At big traditional parties, we dance Gwelede.
The Festival of Black Divinities was established in 2006 and initially focused on promoting traditional religions and Togolese initiation societies. However, the initial focus has evolved and many African cultures have now been incorporated. The event organizers are now aiming to attract more participants from across the globe. Yutundebu, CCTV.
Yeah, so this is the first video, and the second one is more about the cultural aspect from my wife's ethnic group. So there's a very interesting thing. So it's what we call the fire dance. Now that my wife is satisfied, so let's go and take a look at my own tradition. Well, thank you. So now that I talk about my culture, now that I talk about the colors and what you can expect to see in Togo. So as a Togolese, I cannot say my country is out of any problem. So let's talk about some challenges. As a military, I will focus on some security problems. But before going there, people in CGSC, whenever I play soccer, used to tell me I'm very hard or I'm very dedicated or committed in the football soccer, like you say here. So here's the thing. In Lome and in the major cities of my country, each Sunday, whether you know somebody or not, he will drag you out of your compound or out of your area. And doing this, it's a jogging. We knock on barriers for starting at 5 a.m. and we can finish up to 12 p.m. It's starting like this. People are gathering more and more, and we finish on the Lome Beach. Like this, the area view, or like this. So let's take a look at our major challenge in Togo. So since 2015, we have some security threat in Burkina Faso, which I said is in the northern part of our country. So since then, we have some tourists who try to escape from this country and then search from some havens in Togo. As we noticed that our government established a task force in the northern part of our country since 2016, which is Task Force Kunjuare. So this aims to strike against any terrorist threats or any terrorist group which can intend to encounter or to organize any strike in my country. And since now we are very successful in this operation, and we value this operation very much, even at the highest level, like you can see here. Here's our president giving a visit to our troops deployed in this area. And this initiative was also supported in the military and the civilian parts. So we have the CPLEV, which is the committee which aims to fight against violent extremists. The interesting about CPLEV is within the CPLEV, we have each religion represented. So we have the Muslim, we have the native religion, and then you have the Christian religion. So talking and making sure that there is no issue that can divide our country on the religion side. And that was also within support of the US government with our current US ambassador. It was in 2016, like you see here. It was the launching ceremony of the CPEF. So what can you expect coming in Togo? I don't want to talk that much. I would just let you watch this video again.
Being one of the smallest countries in West Africa, a country filled with long beaches with so much palm trees and amazing culture, a country called Togo. These are the few things that you have to know before coming to Togo. Whether you're coming into Togo through the border of Ghana or Benin, the first thing that you will notice while entering Togo is how different the language is. Being among the francophone countries in Africa, the most spoken language in Togo is French, and the other one is Ewe. The few phrases will help you communicate and make your life in Togo amazing.
First thing, say thank you. Akpe kaka. I say it again. Akpe kaka. That's how you say thank you down here. Now, if you want to say yes, just like when you're pressing a button, make it a bit less mechanic. Okay, and no is owl. Owl is a no. Now, okay, if maybe you get into a nice encounter and you want to tell the person you like the person, or I love you, I like you, melon. Very important, huh? Melon. It's important. Bear that in mind, huh? Melon. The last one would be how to ask for money, for the price of something. If you go into the market, you just point at the thing and you say, nene, nene. Okay? With those 5 words, I'm sure you're going to enjoy the place.
Now you can really experience the hospitality of Togolese people. One thing that you'll notice in the streets of Togo is the huge number of motorcycles around the streets. Being one of the most used means of transport in town, this is the fastest and the cheapest way to move. Locally known as Zemijan, the prices of the motorcycles will go as low as $0.2 for just one ride. Riding the Zemijan, you will clearly see how developed Togo really is, with great roads, amazing architecture, and wonderful beaches. So you can see how affordable life is in Togo, from the prices of the food, accommodation, and even transport. From the amazing cuisines like Kom and Akume, you'll find that so many dishes in Togo are actually inspired from other Western African countries, especially the neighboring country of Ghana. With the same food like shito, fufu, and banku, you'll find so many common foods which you'll find in Ghana, also here in Togo.
Ya Abinader, ¿qué ha dicho? ¿No ha habido campo?
Small, peaceful, and amazing.
Todavía no ha terminado la rendición de cuentas, ¿verdad? Sí, ya.
Here is Togo in 3 minutes. So within this 25 to 80 minutes, or 30 minutes, please, excuse me, what can be the takeaways? The first thing is we have a very young population, so the middle age is 20 years. We have cultural diversity and a growing economy. And we emphasize in a good neighborhood politics. We have a small armed forces, but we are committed to peacekeeping operations, and we are under a modernization process. I would like to finish my presentation by sharing with you my first, it's the Ewe quote. I'm Ewe, so I quote, if you hurt the reputation of another, you damage your own. I cannot finish this presentation without a knowledge of thanking Lieutenant Colonel Moran and Madame, my sponsor for Leavenworth, Miss and Mrs. Liz and Barry Einstein, and Mrs. Candace Markfield, but also the distinguished members of the Kansas City People to People Circle of Knowledge. Because the first step in everything is important, I want also to acknowledge and thank Mrs. Ida Valentin since DLI, so in Texas. She was helping us to have the good pace when we step in the CGSC course. So thank you, ma'am, again. I want also to thank the Warriors team, so they know themselves. This is my DLI, let's say, country mates. You are Togolese now, guys. I also like to thank each officer of CGSC, who accepted to be part of this presentation, and even those from my 9 Charlie subgroup. So acknowledge the presence of Major Bud Williams. So ladies and gentlemen, for further information, you can go to this website. I can provide it to you. And welcome to Togo, and thanks for your kind attention. So thank you for everything. And I am open for your questions, your remarks, and whatever can make this presentation great.
Thank you so much again, Captain Ledi. It was beautiful and informative and touchy presentation. I learned a lot about, we all learned a lot about Togo. And at the end, I will try to say Melowo Togo. Is that right?
Exactly. That's right.
Melowo Togo. So
exactly.
Inshallah, one day, if we get the chance, we will visit Togo.
Inshallah.
It's a beautiful beach, yes. For the question, a couple of questions I have, I can combine them in one. You mentioned that you have some issues with your neighbors on north side. But you have recently, your leaders met with Congo and Uganda to discuss the security of Central Africa. On the other hand, there is a project going on between Togo and Ghana, defense project. Can you give us some details about those both issues?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the question. So I want to make sure that we understand this, my point of view. So for the issues with our neighbors from Burkina Faso, there is not the issue with Burkina Faso like country to country, but the issue is the security situation of Burkina Faso. That is the issue, because we are neighboring countries. And since 1884, so the Conference of Berlin, we have Africa countries with some limits that were delineated. It was arbitrary limitations, and it is very, very difficult to monitor all along those borders. And it is, for some part of them, it's very easy to some people to come from Burkina Faso to Ghana and vice versa, even from Togo to Burkina Faso and vice versa. So we need to make sure that those people who are threatening or are conducting some strikes in Burkina Faso, they will not conduct the same activities in Togo. So we make a kind of shield in the northern part of our country, which is the Operation Kundware. And that was since 2016. But apart from that, we also mix it with some political agendas, also political initiative, which is CPLEV. So we conduct time to time some civil and military cooperation activities, like providing medical care, like providing, for example, some basic needs. So this is about our issues with terrorists talking about Burkina Faso and Togo. And then Congo, Uganda, and Togo and Ghana. This is in the framework of our diplomacy activities. So we are a very small country, but we are very, very active in terms of diplomacy. This is one side of our activities with our neighboring countries, or even in Central Africa, because Congo and Uganda are very far from us. They are mainly in Eastern and Central Africa. So this is also to build a very good network with all African countries so that our country can attract some investors, can attract some foreign country, capitals. So even though we are very small, we have the visibility outside of our country. So that is the main reason why we have this politics. And our neighbors from Ghana, we share same food. We share, big part of our culture, we share it with Ghana. And there is no reason why we cannot conduct such kind of activity with Ghana. Because also, like I said, we have these borders that was arbitrarily delineated. So at times, there was some part of Ghana or Togo, so we don't want any conflict between those two countries. So we establish and we maintain the dialogue between those two countries to make sure that we avoid any border issues with either Ghana, Benin, or Burkina Faso. So that is the reason why, from my point of view, for the analysis that I have, we have so far these kind of activities going on. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Captain, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I was there, I think I was there maybe 4 years ago and spent a couple days in Lomé, and I was very impressed of the countries I was visiting on that particular trip. The people there, I think, went out of their way to be so hospitable. And it was very, very touching. We hired a local guide. I was there for a couple days, and we hired a guide who took us around. And I was really impressed with your museum. But all at the hotel, every place I went was very open to the tourism, and they wanted to make sure we had a nice time. It was very special.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. I was going to ask, this is a question I asked, this is kind of a cliche-ish question, but if we were at a sports bar in Lomé and there was on TV, there was like an African football tournament, and let's say your two neighbors, Benin and Guinea were playing, who do you think the most of the people in the bar would be rooting for? Would they be rooting for Ghana? From what you said, would they be for Ghanese supporters?
That is a good question. So you are talking about AFCON, the African Cup of Nations. So it depends. If we are playing against Ghana or Benin, it goes beyond a normal game. It can be also a family game, because myself, for example, I have a part of my family which is living in Ghana. My wife's family also, there is a part living in Ghana too. So we are the same. And when we play Ghana versus Togo, for example, it's not only like two countries or two nationalities, but the families also are involved. So if I want to pick Benin or Ghana, it depends. If they are playing against, for example, some Central Africa or, very far from our area, obviously our heart will go to Benin or Ghana, because like I said, we are same family.
But what if Ghana was playing Benin?
Whoa, that's a tough one. We don't have a Beninese officer, but if Ghana is playing against Benin, for myself, I will support Ghana, because I have more attachment with Ghana than Benin. But if it is in the world stage, for example, if Ghana or Benin is playing against any European or American or Asian country, my heart will go to Benin. And it is a tough question. I'm happy there is no Beninese officer here. Thank you, sir.
We have a question in the chat
Yes.
that you mentioned the arbitrary lines of countries when you spoke about the challenges of Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
And Michael is interested in how people prioritize their identity in Togo. Do the people of Togo identify first as Togolese or with their local ethnic groups and languages?
Thank you. That's a good question. So, as a country, the way our country is built, as a nation, the way our nation is built is very tough because you gather in the same area, different ethnic group, which in the past can be like enemies. Because this was an arbitrary delineation, like I said, since the 1884 Conference of Berlin. So we, as Togolese, it was tough at the beginning as a nation, but now we identify ourselves first as Togolese, and then second as, for example, as Ewe, as Kabie, as Tem. First, we are Togolese before being Ewe, Kabie, and so on. So the country first. And this is why also in these regions, so in the bordering regions, we have the government conducting some civil and military cooperation activities so that those population will not feel that the country or the government is not behind them. So they will feel the support of the government because those areas are very remote. They are very remote. So they win the presence of the government and the presence of our army and some social organizations. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the question.
Are there any other questions?
There was another.
There's another question in the chat about asking if he could repeat the major exports of Togo.
Oh, okay. The major export of Togo. So first of them, we should say the natural produce. So the phosphate, for example, and our economy is mainly based on agriculture. So the goods, agriculture, and I mentioned also the textile. So textile is not an export, it's an import, but it's a huge part of our economics because in the 70s, it represented 20% of our GDP. So it's a very huge, but now things has evolved because of the general framework, the trade in the world has changed, and then we have some, let's say some predators coming from abroad. So the market is now changing. And now we are more focused on phosphate, natural resources, and then our agricultural resources, like cashew nuts, like Mr. Zahid Awan mentioned previously. Thank you.
I have one more question.
Yes, sir.
Did this pandemic affected Togo in their economy-wise? And the other question similar to that, which other countries mainly are investing in your country in different projects?
Okay. So thank you for the question again. So about COVID-19 pandemic, yes, obviously it has affected our country economy. So we were progressing up to 2% each year from 2016, and it started going down 2019 and 2020, but now we are trying to keep the rhythm we had prior to the pandemic. So the pandemic was very, very tough. It was a very tough period for us. And like I said, major parts of our economy is relying on the informal economics. So if you tell people, don't go out, or we had the curfew, for example, so up to 7 p.m. 8 p.m., we don't want to see anybody outside selling anything. So we need to provide some help to them. So this is why we have, like I said, the program Novici. So caring about this kind of, those people, helping them, and about investment in our country. So we have a very wide range of investment. So from Asia, from Africa, from Europe as well. So our major investments come from Africa. So Burkina Faso, Ghana, Benin. So they are very important for us. This is why also we, as a country, this is why we cherish the good neighboring policy. If you are not in good terms with somebody, we cannot make trade with him. But we do have some investors coming from France, from Great Britain, for US, from China, and from India also. So it's very wide. It's very wide. Thank you for the question.
Anybody else?
I was curious about how the family structure is. Do like your family when you're home? Is it just you and your wife and children, or do multi-generations live together in the same dwelling?
Okay, that's a very good question. So we don't have. It depends. I mean, on your background and sometimes on the religion. I choose to be Muslim. So there are some parts in my country, some ethnic group, for example, as a Muslim, you want to have your father, your mother in the same house, but it will be a very, very big house. But I don't choose, I don't choose that. It's only me, my wife, and my children. But one thing that is very interesting, we care about our fathers, even our fathers and our mothers, even if they are very old. So we cannot we don't have this policy of care, for example. You keep him or her with you in the house, providing everything him or her we need. And one thing very interesting is the power of what we call aunt. So the aunt is, for example, me. I have my sister. So my sister will be the aunt of my children. And she is the most powerful person for my children when it's time to get married. And my wife, she is 10 years elder than my sister, but she must respect, and she is respecting her even more than me. This is the power of what you call the aunts. Because at times, if she says no, for example, I don't want you to be with this lady, for example, it will be tough for me. If she was, if she was like 20s or 30s, for example. So the aunt has a very, very powerful position in our families. Very, very powerful position in our families. So
that's very interesting.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's not only about Muslims, but overall our country, overall. No matter what your religion is, a native, Christian, or animist, Muslim, sorry, no matter. Thank you.
Okay, Captain Ledi, I have another question about the schools. I was reading World Food Program, and they are giving some aid to school, and the Togo schools decided to use their aid to grow their own produce in their schools, so they can feed their students in their school from their own vegetable gardens.
Okay.
Can you explain that? Because over here, we rely on Sam's Club, Costco, and those, that depends where they are buying from and if they are getting or not, the shipment is getting, but you are depending on your own garden, which is next to your building.
Okay, so if I understood the question is about how our school have a program to feed their students. Yes, so thank you for the question. So that's the thing. In Togo, public school from primary to middle school, or sometimes to high school is free. So when you are in remote areas, for example, at times it's difficult to the government to monitor. So we have the program, the community program, the PUDC, which is backed by the UNDP, United Nations Development Program. So this program aims to give the basic needs to the population, even in remote areas. So we have to start something before the government can help you. If you are not able to carry a load, at least at your knee, it will be tough to somebody to help you carry it to your head. So that is the point. We have the law to be in a country where you can produce fruits, vegetables like you want. It's up to you. So those schools in the remote areas, they are able to feed their students, waiting for the support of the government. So this is the starting point, and then providing some letters, for example, also requests to the government. Okay, here is our problem. This is so far what we can do or what we did. So we want this, and that's the process. That's the process. And also the government since 2016 has provided or have initiated a program to build some free canteen for children in some primary school. It's not all over the country because we don't have the means, but mostly it's coming now to spread all over the country, small pieces of the country, and hopefully we get better. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Nancy, do you have comments? You'll need to unmute.
Oh. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I think I will turn it over to Zahid for the certificate presentation, and then I just have a few reminders of things coming up.
Again, thank you so much, Captain Ledi. It's our tradition that when an officer present their country, we give them a certificate of appreciation. And today we are giving you the certificate of appreciation, which you can see Sharon can share that. And I am so thankful for your input and your giving the answers without any hesitation. I know that these were your personal opinions, but they were very informative, and we enjoyed, and we know right now more about Togo than before. And I am so thankful for our program committee, Candace, our sponsors, our military committee, and especially David Bone, who is here for this program. We will continue this program, and I think this is the best program we can offer to our Kansas City residents and our sponsors. And we are so lucky that we have the best officers from around the world who can share their experience, the beauty of their culture, and the tasty food of their countries. And we can enjoy all that. And we are so lucky to host you. We are honored that you are here with us for 1 year, and we can share our family values and our traditions and culture and food, and sit together and discuss things. And that's amazing. These things are priceless. And I appreciate that. And thank you so much for your being here and giving us your inputs.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Zahid, and thank you, Captain Ledi. so much for your presentation. I just wanted to briefly announce about three reminders that we do have one more Circle of Knowledge coming up in a month. So March 27th, the officer from Singapore will be with us at 2 p.m. And these will all be coming in the MailChimp as well. Our annual meeting is now set for April 19th, which is a Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. And then the sponsor briefing we now have set for the next year's sponsors and for returning sponsors on May 16th at 5 p.m. And we're almost positive that we will be able to host that in the Kaufman Conference Center, which we're thrilled about, to be able to do that in person and also provide a virtual option as well for those that aren't able to make it or don't feel comfortable doing it at this time. So that's all I have. Thank you, all of you, for joining, and Captain Ledi for sharing with us.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I think David Bourne is here. If you want to say something, David.
Well, thank you, Zahid. I appreciate it. It's such an honor to be here, and we are so thankful for your organization and all that you do for our international officers. And we are looking forward to continuing to support you and your efforts. And we just want to send our best out to Captain Ledi and his family for being a part of this. And we're looking forward to the next installment with the Singapore officer, a last minute fill. And thank you for being flexible on that as well. So that's about it, Zahid. And I hope everybody has a blessed Sunday.